So what were you saying about your darkest moment?
So, something I saw the other day, it kind of hit me, and it said, you say you want to die. So, throw yourself in the middle of the Bering Sea and tell me you want to die. When you're sitting there fighting for your life, it's not that you want to die. You're in your deepest, darkest place and you think you want to die. But when you get free from that place, you realize it's not that you wanted death, you just wanted the suffering to end.
So true.
It's not that I wanted to leave this world. And it made me think about this, and it was so long ago. I didn't want to leave this world because I love this world. I love the people I have in my life. I love the people I've surrounded myself with. I love all those things. But the thing I realize is when I'm in my deepest, darkest pain, I just want it to end. And it's not my life that I want to end. It's the pain I want to end. But I figure the easiest way out is by just ending my life, and it ends the pain. Think about that.
Yeah.
When you were there, is that how it was for you? I mean, now that you're removed from that situation and you can look back at it as a whole.
100%, yeah. I mean, I remember just the start of it was like trying to get away from it, was just trying to go to bed or at 6 o'clock at night or 7 o'clock at night, literally just trying to sleep away the pain and the suffering.
You're just trying to run from the problem.
Exactly. Yep, exactly. And that first step was, sleeping a little bit too much. The second step might have been drinking too much to kind of just numb the pain, right? The third step was like having bad thoughts about, not wanting to be here, right? I never had any plans to do anything to myself because, I mean, again, I got checked in 3 different times to a mental facility, and they had asked, "You have any plans to, hurt yourself?" And the answer was always no.
Right.
But in my head, I was like, man, I want to get out of this. I'm going to get out of the suffering.
What's the easiest way out of it? How do I make it go away?
Right. Yeah,
Exactly. and you've heard that said so many times by people where they say, when someone takes their own life, they took the easy way out.
True. Yeah. I've always thought that. Yeah.
So have I.
Yeah.
But now that I've been on both sides of that,
Yeah. Keep going. I know where you're going.
I don't really know as if that's the easy way out, because to actually commit to take your own life is not easy.
No, it's not. It's not an easy thing. And candidly, I know I would have never done it because I didn't have the guts to do it. So to be honest with you, I wasn't that close, even though I had those thoughts. You know what I mean? But again, if you're having those thoughts, you are thinking about it. You need to talk to somebody.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
I'm not disagreeing that.
You do need to talk to somebody.
I'm the big bad construction worker, and even I realize that I have to talk to people from time to time. You have to let that stuff out. You have to. If you don't get that stuff out, it just festers and boils, and it sits there and stews, and then it brews resentments, then it brews anger, then that's how you got to where you were.
That's right.
That's the thing I've learned on the opposite side of it, is that if I don't talk about my feelings, if I don't get those things out, if I don't verbalize what I'm thinking, it doesn't change anything. And it never will. And I think that's become the bigger problem, is we're all so scared to talk about our actual feelings.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
As men, we were raised, you don't have feelings. Feelings aren't real, you don't deal with them, drink it away. That was my mantra in life. That's why I drank the way I did. Is I had feelings that made it real. If it was real, it was a problem. If it was a problem, I had to deal with it.
Well, the other thing I don't think people realize is that your suffering is actually sacred. If you realize that you can use your suffering to really help other people, that's where you kind of start pulling out of it. When you're in it, you can't see it, right?
I
You
agree.
can't figure out what you're going to do. But on the other end of it, I think there's really 2 different stories. A really, really bad mistake that you made that you can use to help other people once you pulled out of it. The second is if you've been hurt by somebody or if you lost something and you didn't deserve it and you're trying to figure out how to get out of that pit. That's the other. But you didn't do anything wrong, but something happened to you. Somebody hurt you. Something really, really bad happened to you. You have a story. You suffered, right? It wasn't your fault. There's suffering. We're self-inflicted. You can still use that to help other people. And I think people get stuck there because they're like, I can't believe that I made that mistake. You know what I mean? I can't believe I did that. And they're stuck there.
Well, and it's easy to get stuck there because that goes back to some of our previous videos about beating yourself up. It's easier to beat yourself up and sit there and take the blame and say, oh, poor me, and wallow in self-pity than it is to pick yourself up and actually do the work. And that's the other side of it, is some people don't realize that it's not easy. It is hard work to be happy.
Well, you know what, you say that because I've never had to work harder at being happy in my life. Before, everything was easy, or easier, I'd say. You know what I mean? Now, I have to actually work at it. I have to be journaling. I have to be in the right mental state. I have to get into the Bible every day. I have to go to church. I have to worship. You know what I mean?
You
And
have the other flip side of the coin. It's putting in the work.
it is. And you mentioned getting up, like picking yourself up. I was fortunate enough that I had an army of guys that were trying to pull me out of this despair, and without, and my family, I should say, most importantly my family, and without them I'm not sure I'm here today. You know what I mean? So again, if you don't have anybody to talk to right now to help you in your despair, you gotta really kind of call and get help, right? I mean, call somebody that's out there, call a hotline, right, if you have to. And again, I want to get back to the two sides of the story, right? Self-inflicted, where you've actually done something wrong or made a mistake,
Or environmental.
or environmental, where it's not your fault, right? Here's what I would submit for the people where you've done nothing wrong, you've been hurt by somebody or something's been taken from you. You are probably more like Jesus than anybody, right? Look, he didn't deserve anything.
No.
He didn't deserve to be beaten beyond recognition. He didn't deserve to go to the cross. And you're carrying this cross, and you're probably thinking to myself, why me, right? Well, maybe it's because God wants you to use your story, right?
Why me? Why me? Why
Right?
me? Why me?
It's hard. It's still hard, but yeah, keep going.
Why me? Why not start saying why not me?
Yep.
It's something we've discussed. It's something we tell you all the time, is that God doesn't give you more than he believes you can handle. You think that you're taking on more than you can, but the problem you're not seeing is he's just pushing you to become something better than
It's
you
so
were.
true. It's so true.
He does. He does that. That's how I got out of where I'm at. Is everything around me was falling apart, and I can tell you the best times of my life always, and I mean always, came after a frickin' hard-fought battle. Every single time.
Well, I got this camel hat on for a reason today.
Was it because you're trying to blend in?
No, it's because I do believe that every day is a battle. We are in a battle every single day.
We're in a battle for our own happiness every day.
100%. And the question I'd ask myself and everybody out there is, what are you doing to make sure that you're fighting the battle? I would tell you that, like, I'd been in men's groups and church and other men's weekends historically. When I actually got in 2020, COVID hit, right? Well, guess what? I wasn't going to my Bible studies. I wasn't going to church. I wasn't doing these men's weekends. I wasn't in fellowship. I lost my army, and that's when the devil knew. He's like, you know what? I got him right where I want him, and that's where I made my biggest mistake. Had I not got out of my rhythms, I don't know if I'd be talking here today, honestly. But that's when I got in my pit of despair. But every day is a battle. We got to understand. We got to put on the armor of God every single day, right, to fight our battles.
That's why every day you start your morning out dropping to your knees and asking God for another day.
That's right.
Being grateful for being given that day, and then ask for his direction throughout it.
And again, I mean, the battle every day for people is really, really hard. I mean, they're fighting every single day, right? I mean,
We all are. That's the human condition, and that's what people need to start understanding and get a better foothold in, is the fact that life is called life for a reason. It's not meant to be easy. If it was easy, it'd be called heaven. And that's the thing we need to realize, is we're fighting for something greater than what we can ever imagine. We are. We're fighting for this eternal life of never feeling pain, hurt, anger, any of the bad things in life. So why shouldn't life be filled with those things? Why shouldn't we be showing God that we're worthy of eternity in heaven? That's why it is called life. It's called life because it's our trials, testament, and tribute to him, to show him we're worthy of the greatness that he's bestowed upon us.
And everybody thinks that everybody's life is easier than the next guy's, right?
Yeah.
They don't know.
They have
don't
no
know
clue.
what's going on. They don't know what they're dealing with.
Nope.
Cancer, loss of a family member, loss of a child, maybe a child who's in drugs, trying to get them into rehab. I mean, go down the list.
There's a laundry list of things. It could be as simple as they made a mistake on a piece of paper and it cost them millions of dollars. It's anything. It could be minute, could be large. You could be going through a divorce. You could be going through the loss of a loved one, your mother, your father, your child. All those things are all part of life, and it isn't always fair.
Life is definitely not fair, and again, to your point, God doesn't give us more than we can handle, and maybe he wants you out there to go use your story. Maybe you're going through this so you can be ready for the next person. I mean, you did that to kind of help pull out of your pit, right? Your story.
I actually used someone else's life to change mine.
What do you mean by that?
I changed my life because someone I knew and cared about was dying in a hospital room because of alcohol. Someone I had looked up to, someone that was a mentor to me, someone that in my eyes had the best life. Beautiful wife, 2 beautiful children, amazing home, amazing business, guys that followed his lead, the alpha male. That was the man I looked up to, and that man was dying in a hospital room because of alcohol. I'm fortunate enough that his rock bottom was enough for me. I didn't have to get to his point. I saw what he was going through, and I said, that's not a life I want for myself or my family. I want the other parts of his life, but I don't want that part.
So his worst moment was your turning point. Then that was a tipping point for you. You're like, I'm
That
not
was a
going there.
big part of it.
And the line that the your friend said to you, I think your comment was when you heard that he was in the hospital. I think the question that was asked of you is, well, how does that make you feel? And your response was what?
I wanted to go to the bar and have a beer.
And then what was the next comment that your friend made to you when you said that?
So if this person were to take a shotgun and blow off half his face, would you do the same thing?
Ooh.
And at first I wanted to debate it. That's the funny part. When he said that, I went to debate that with him.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the...
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not exactly the same. Crap.
So right there.
Dang it.
So right then and there, you knew you had to change kind of your outlook on life.
I had to change the direction I was heading. Not even my outlook, just the direction I was going. Because my direction I was heading towards the same path he ended up at.
And the thing too is, like, I think changing directions, I think people don't understand. Like, you have an udder on a boat. The thing's not very big, right?
A rudder, you mean?
Thank you. A rudder. Thank you.
It's
you
early. You don't float on a cow.
Thank you. An udder. We're going to keep going here. A rudder. Thank you. An udder. It's early.
It's early. We're floating on cows. It's fine.
A rudder on a boat, but it's small, right? And you make that small adjustment, you totally change the direction of the boat, right? So you don't think that you need to make this huge shift.
Well, to say it from my aspect, from what I do for a living, plumb and level. If you're looking at something as perfectly plumb in 10 feet, okay, but let's say within 10 feet that thing's out a half an inch. So if you're out half an inch in 10 feet, what does that end up being at 20 feet? What does that be at 30 feet?
Yeah.
So the further you get away from God, your rudder might be just skewed 2 degrees. But the problem is when you're 10 miles out to sea, that 2 degrees just puts you 50 miles away from where you're supposed to be.
Yeah. And the opposite, again, if you just make a small shift, go in a different direction, better your life, it's going to be that much better.
Just to put it in utter cow forms, if you shift that udder 2 degrees, it's going to change the trajectory over the long run. And that's the part that people need to realize. It can be such a small shift. 1 degree.
Yeah.
1 degree of change could get you to your destination.
Yeah.
50 degrees might get you there quicker.
That's right.
But 1 degree. So if you change 1 degree every day for the next 90 days, where's that going to put you in 90 days?
That's a great analogy.
1 degree.
Yeah.
Just take it 1 day at a time. Stop trying to change your life in a day.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen.
Yeah. And again, I would say using your story might be the best thing that you can do to go help somebody else. Again, whether it's self-inflicted suffering or, again, it's inflicted upon you, your suffering is sacred.
It is. You're suffering for a reason. There's always a reason behind it. And the thing is as people, we want to know that reason before we get the outcome.
The most important thing is just to accept it, which I didn't do early on. You just need to accept it. Take it. Again, even if you made a mistake, accept it, move on. Here's the thing. I think people don't understand that we are in a battle. We are in a battle right now, and you got the world, the flesh, and the devil that's working on. You have those 3 things. You know what? And here's the thing. If you really didn't know or have the armor of God at the time you made that mistake, maybe you didn't know Jesus enough. Maybe you didn't know God enough. Again, when I made my mistake, I thought I had it all figured out, but clearly I wasn't ready. I didn't have that armor. I didn't have that armor on, right? And it took other guys to kind of help me out to get me there.
No, the problem is you had the armor. You just weren't wearing the right armor.
I wasn't putting it on. I didn't put it on, man.
You weren't going to battle.
It was laying there.
You were walking on the battlefield, dressed and ready, but you weren't doing anything about it.
I don't even know if I was dressed.
Well,
at the time.
If you think about it, that's what I'm saying, though. If you think about it, you were going to church, You were involved with God. You were involved in men ministries. You were putting on the armor.
And
You just weren't showing up.
well, again, I was
There's
out of
a
that rhythm,
difference.
but I was out of that rhythm in 2020 because of COVID.
No,
right?
and I understand that.
Yeah, yeah.
I do. I get why you got
Yeah.
where you got.
Yeah.
But what I'm telling you is something that these people need to realize too. Just because you put the armor on every day doesn't mean you're going to battle. You can still put the armor on.
That's
You
true.
can still step out on that battlefield. But if you're just standing there like this, watching everybody else fight the fights,
You're not in it.
you're not in it.
Yeah.
And that's where you were. You were putting on the armor. You were wearing the garb. You were carrying the sword. The problem is you were standing on the sidelines instead of being on the battlefield.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I kind of gave up there for half second.
And that's what I mean. And if you think about it, that's exactly what happened. You were showing up. You just weren't doing your part.
Well, here's the other thing too: is that what we forget, and we'll kind of conclude here is, we are in a battle every single day, but you know what the smiley face is for? You want to guess?
You tell me.
Jesus has already won the war. He's already won the war. That's what we should be smiling about. He's been victorious, right? And when we fight, here's what I want you all to remember: is that you fight from a place of rest. Right? Jesus is seated at God's right hand. He's already done. He's already victorious, right? So we have to understand that because of him and what he's done for us, we can fight from a place of rest. That sounds maybe contradictory a little bit, but it's truth. We fight from a place of rest. So again, this has been Finding Hope in a Suffering Society. I'm Rob.
I'm Josh.
And we're here to help you find the beauty
in the darkness.
If you found that light,
please go show your glow to the rest of the world. And to further our topic, just if you're having any mental health crisis, please call somebody. Please. Your life means something to someone. Maybe it doesn't to you in this moment, but there's someone out there that it means everything to.
That's right.
So if you need help, please call a helpline. Reach out to us. I'm not saying we're licensed professionals, but we're here to listen. If you just need someone to unload on, we got you.
That's right.
Remember that. And go show your glow to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
We'll see you in the next video.